Nicole, does that look like it did it right on your end? Because my end, it still
It's
takes me a
not
little.
sharing. You're not sharing your screen, and I am looking right now to see if it's coming up live.
It says custom live on my side, so okay.
Yeah, it's going live. Yeah, and now you can share your pretty little commercials. You got it.
I did not do that right. I did not do that right. I need to share it and I need to click the share sound. Sorry.
I'm just seeing news clips.
Let's be real. You keep saying you'll get visible after things totally calm down, right? Meanwhile, your calendar is feral, like a crazy cat, all over the place. Colors, you can't even remember what they are anymore. Your inbox is totally on fire. Yeah, you wish you could set fire to it. And later has been lying to you for years because you know what? The truth is, you are the best kept secret, my friend. You're busy doesn't equal visible. Hard work doesn't magically broadcast itself across the radio waves. Nope. That's why the Brew and Stew Media Spotlight exists. That's right. A collaboration between Nicole Borghi and Colleen Stubbs. One booking, two podcasts, no pitching, no chasing, no pretending you enjoy the outreach. We know you don't. Nobody does. You show up, you talk like the authority you already are. Your message gets heard on purpose to an aligned audience. Stop waiting. Stop hiding behind the busy button and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Busy, booked, exhausted. Your inbox is screaming at you like a siren. Your calendar is still feral. Still calling yourself visible and you're just the best kept secret? Turns out I was right there with you, my friend. Wasn't getting seen, was just the best kept secret. Wasn't getting heard, definitely, kind of getting paid. But here, the magic, my friend. It's a collaboration between Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi. The Voice Lab on the school platform shows you how to use podcast spotlights, summit stages, and simplified, yeah, that's right, simple outreach systems so your visibility actually works. Get seen, get heard, join the free Voice Lab on the school platform, and you're going to get it all. Because if you're working this hard, someone else should know about it. Scan the QR code today.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
So that
morning.
is starting with the commercial, and I love it. I think Nicole did an amazing job with that. I'm so glad everybody's here. I hope everybody had a great new year. Nicole, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
We got a lot going on.
So I just want to say for a second that commercial, part of the Brew and Stew package is that you can get a commercial that Nicole will make and customize to you. And so that's exciting. If you like that commercial, she does lots of them. And I know that she gave me three to choose from. And that is the one that I chose. But she does make a variety of them and then just let you choose which one you like or what style you like. So nice to have some things that you don't have to actually do yourself, right? She just does those for you. And we're going to get into it today, Nicole. Tell us what you got coming up this week.
Oh, well, just a few things. We've got several things coming up, and I know, Colleen, you and I are our paths are going to cross many, many times, and we're collaborating on other things. But one of the most important things besides this very podcast today is we've got the Learning Lab. Later today on the school platform, and that's for our freemies, our members that have just joined. We have exciting things happening on that platform, and that's at 12:30 Eastern today. So an hour and a half, what, 2.5 hours if I can count. So once this ends, an hour and a half after this, and then we've got tomorrow. We have the speakers panel for the invisible to influential, and I'll share all those links for that. And that means that you get to learn a little bit more behind the scenes stuff and things all about the speakers. We're going to have connection, and then we'll have engagement and a networking portion of that as well. So the audience can engage. What's that all about? They get to talk to people, turn on your camera, say hello, and get to know people. So that is exciting this week. And then we have 10 a.m. Tuesday and Thursday. We have the Voice Lab podcast, and that coincides with our Learning Lab on the school platform, and that is open for everybody to learn all about what we've got going on business wise. Right? We want to boost your business, and we want to boost your visibility, and that's where the name for the Invisible to Influential Summit came up. It's how are you influencing your audience, and how are you grabbing the mic and talking to them. So just a few things, as you can see.
Yeah, and so the learning lab, just to be clear for everybody who's here, is going to take place inside our school platform. And so what we do is each week we have a topic that we're going to really dive into that's going to help you to really get seen and heard and get on the platforms and be comfortable there, right? And not only that, but we want you to find success there. So we want to be able to help you figure out how to interact with people after that. So it's a full process, right? And so today's going to be the first day on that. And then, of course, this week is the summit. I'm super excited about that. And that's the main reason that we're here today. So, Nicole, why don't you tell us more about the summit? Who's speaking and what are they speaking on? What can we expect to pull from that?
So what you can expect is definitely engagement, but you want to learn a little bit more about what the speakers are talking about, right? So we have people like yourself, Colleen. We have Sally. There's Lorraine Brown. Mike Asherbranner is going to be there, and he's here in the audience with us today. We've got Holly Holiday, many, many people that we all know and have worked with, Twana Lowry. So we have some great people. There's a Masango is a Dr. Masango is going to be on there. Another great leader in the industry and experts that have years of business experience. They actually have had businesses, run businesses, and have true leadership. But what this is really about is that soul-led leadership. So you get a little bit more of a spark of who these people are, and in an interview style, a few extra questions. So you get a little nuggets and a little taste of what they're going to bring to the stage, what they're talking about. So it's a lot about networking, connection, learn a little bit about LinkedIn. Lois Wyant is talking about 4 essential ways that every business should be using AI. She's an expert in what she does. Lorraine's going to talk about going from fear to freedom. And I think this is the time time to get past that fear and move into freedom. There are a few of us, I know we have that conversation before, that aren't really in the fear mode. We're just, where do we go? But it can get a little scary because you're not always ready. It's not always perfect. But what's the next step? Especially those of us right now with all the planets and they're coming into to Pluto, Saturn's there. What does that mean? It's more logical, it's more thinking. So if you're into the woo, what are we looking at? This is the time to grab the mic and really take hold of the first quarter and say, what am I going to do in my business? Am I ready to truly be step into my beauty? And can I resonate with my clients? And am I really resonating with myself? Who am I? Am I truly a soul-led leader? And am I leading with the intention? So this invisible to influential is all for CEOs, entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs. What are you doing next? Are you amplifying your authentic voice? Are you stepping into authority and influencing? Are you taking actionable steps? And are you truly ready to be a change maker? Not just are you stuck transforming and are you stuck changing? Because you can get into that cycle if you're a self-help nut. I know, like myself, we get a little bit too much and we don't take the action. We always want to kind of mess and manipulate and kind of get into that. Now take the action and move. So this is a very much a time to be truly focused, know who you are, know who your audience is, and influence. It doesn't mean that you're the influencer and you're buying a bunch of likes and comments. How are you truly connecting to your audience? And customer service, if you guys have gotten on the phone, if you've seen Amazon's always, we were talking about that early this morning, firing people before the holiday. Customer service isn't going to be good if your employees aren't happy. But if you have your own business, are you, as your top employee, the CEO, the boss, taking advantage and taking charge of who you are in life? And so you can be there and service your customers and be in servitude in the best way in your community, making those changes. And most of that is really engagement. So we've got some fabulous speakers and some great topics coming up as well.
I'm excited about that, Nicole. And I have to say that, you're talking about getting comfortable in your own skin, getting comfortable in front of the camera, in front of the mic, getting comfortable presenting, things like that. Now, these are people, a lot of people are coming from other jobs or corporate or whatever. And so a lot of what they did was based on what they were told, their job description, things like that. The difference is when you come into entrepreneurship, you have to create that, right? Like you are your SOP. You have to design your business. And so many people, it's like building a house, when you drive by and you see these gorgeous homes, you're like, oh, I want that. And so then you get in it and you're like, but wait, this is weird. This doesn't quite fit what I would want. I want my kitchen cabinets to lay out a little bit differently. Like, why is the bathroom right inside the front door? No, things like that. And so you get in, you're like, this looks great on the outside, but it doesn't really feel like home to me. It doesn't feel like I could kick off my shoes and be comfortable here. And so when we're building our business online, it's so important that we get to that point where we are kicking off our shoes and we're comfortable. Because once you can show up authentically and you're aligned, and I have surrounded myself with great entrepreneurs that do this, but once you're aligned and you're really presenting yourself as you are more comfortable in your business, you're more comfortable in delivering your message, and you're building relationships. You're able to build relationships where people trust you because you're real. You're not going in going, do I need some little plastic covers for my shoes? No, you're just going in, kicking them off and getting about it, right? And so that is huge. And I see so many people. We had this discussion earlier, Nicole, where they're saying that you need to not show up this way. You need to show up this way. And there is nothing like that. Let's be real. My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. And the reason being is because I invite everybody. And when I say everybody, I invite homeless people. I invite people who have rented from us. I invite my friends, my neighbors, my friends' friends, my nieces and great nieces and people who aren't actually my nieces, but I call them my nieces and their friends. I mean, everybody comes and it's a beautiful thing because it's like a melding pot, right? And I love everybody that's there because they're also unique and different. And so when we're coming online to build our business, we have to be able to embrace our uniqueness. And that's what sets us apart. I want to make sure that every time you see something that's mine, you go, oh, that's Colleen. Oh, that's Colleen. I open this email. I know that. Oh, I hear that voice. I know that. Oh, I see this. That looks her style. And that's what we have to be comfortable doing in our business. We have to be brave enough to throw out the people who are saying, do it this way. It has to be done this way. Here's a long list of what you got to do to make it work. No, there's not, you know. The biggest thing is to be you and to build it out the way that you're comfortable. Now, being able to find your voice and get comfortable is just a huge part of that. And it does, unfortunately, take some trial and error, right, to figure that out. But especially when you're coming from corporate, I've been doing this for, Nicole and I were talking 37 years, and I have always been that way. And it's a little bit awkward sometimes, but it's always been good. And so I would love to know, just drop in the chat, if you will, like what has been your biggest stepping stone, your biggest obstacle to getting your business visible, do you think? Just everybody drop just what it is. And it may be different for everybody. But I think for me coming online, I felt like, okay, how's the way to do this? I built so many businesses, brick and mortar. I know exactly how to do that. How is the best way to do this online? That was a little bit of a thing. Like I just didn't know. I took so many courses and classes and trying to learn that. But what I found is that I really learned more going to the free summits and listening to everybody's intake and then being able to selectively choose, right, what works. So, Nicole, one of the things I love about your summits that you do, and I've always loved about your summits, and it sets you apart and it says a lot about your branding. And maybe people won't think of it as branding, but the fact that we have pause and engage moments, I'll call them that for lack of whatever, conversation moments, right? So, a speaker, and then we have Q&A, and it's open, and it's not like Q&A like only attendees can Q&A. It's like if I'm there and Donna is speaking and I have a question about her send out cards, when she's done, I will ask my question, even if I'm another speaker. And it's an open floor. And so it's very inclusive and it's very open and communicating, and it's very conducive of building relationships, which is the real reason we're here in business, right? And so I love that you do that with your summits. Tell me why you thought, why that's something you embrace, because I haven't seen it any other summit.
Well, I think to me it was one, we're missing engagement, and a lot of there was a lot of complaints, not really from the audience, because we had kind of gotten pushed into that, where we're on Zoom and this is how we're going to work, and we didn't have to fight rush hour traffic. We just had to stop double booking ourselves and maybe show up once in a while, right? But the other thing was from the speakers, they didn't have engagement, and it can be, here's a truth. It might be very uncomfortable, but the speakers are not always very engaging. They don't ask questions like you're asking questions here. You're asking interview styles, but you're asking the audience, hey, get in the chat, get ready to come on the mic, because we're going to have a time where what we do is, when we stop the live, and then we all also add, just before that, we add audience participation on in this Monday morning business foreplay. It's engagement. People are missing the engagement. A lot of people are like, well, hey, I don't want to go to another video summit. It's just draining me. I'm there all day. Well, are you really present and listening? But also, is the speaker calling to you? Are they looking in the camera? Are they emotional? Is there a flexion in the tonality, how they're talking? Are they really talking to the camera? Do they have 1,001 slides that have like 5,000 characters on that nobody can read because it's so busy? Is there no engagement? Is there maybe a video? Is there a disruption? Is there a break in the pattern? Are you even talking to the audience? And maybe and some of it is alignment. When we're talking about our avatars, are you connected? And I think that's huge, is the alignment, that the speakers align as well. And as you mentioned, when you're like, hey, I want to ask questions, this is why you come here as a speaker. Something else that nobody really talks about is the best juice and the best energy you're going to get is to have engagement through the speakers, because they know what they want. They've defined their niche. They know their avatar. They know who they're talking to. They know their business. And something might key to them and go, wow, I haven't thought of it in that manner. That's kind of juicy. That's something I need to take in. It's something new I need to try. And how come I haven't tried this yet? Or how come I haven't heard it framed in that manner, right? So it's how are we engaging? How are we talking? And the third main myth that nobody talks about it, and we can get into that more or less too, is that's where you're going to get your biggest feedback is from the speakers, but also you're going to get a sale from the speakers because the speakers know what they want. And they've probably been through summits with you and been on the stage. Maybe they've been in your audience. Maybe they've seen some of your emails and they're going, wow, this Colleen, this Carol, this Mike, this Kim, this Royce, they know what they're talking about. Donna, she knows what she's talking about as she's coming out here on and talking about cards, outreach and engagement. Mike talks about networking and engagement. You want to key into that, right? Personality tests. You want to talk to Carol and say, hey, I need to know my clients. I need to know more of myself, really, right? So when you mix all this in the engagement, people know that they can trust you more and more. And it's huge to connect to one another and say, hey, am I working with this? And the other thing is that when everybody's aligned and the speakers are aligned and they start to actually invite and reach out to their audience, then the audience can trust you as a speaker that whoever you're on the stage with, they know that that's a good group of people. They know that's their soul tribe and they're going to come out here and say, hey, I really want to wake up to this year. 2026 is the year of focus, connection, and really just action taking.
And I feel like it's such a large outreach too, but really, um, it shows you a side of people. And you guys, let's do a little more open mic, ask questions. But it shows you, I feel like it shows you a side of people like you see Colleen and Nicole here, where we're just shooting it, right? We're just talking off the cuff, whatever. But then if you go to a summit, you get to see us a little more prepared, a little more polished, a little more presentation mode, which is always good, back in when I was dating many moons ago. This advice surely doesn't stick now, but my mom said make sure that the boys that you date that you see them in every situation so
Yeah.
that you know how they're going to react and you really truly get to know them, right? And I feel the same way about people. Like, let's see them in all the different situations so you get to know them and build that relationship. And it's not just like, do they have their Zoom face on? Do they have, like, let's get to know people on a real basis. Like, if you didn't know, Donna lives in a camper and I'm jealous because I love the area she lives in, right? And Carol always has colorful glasses. They're just things like that I love about people. Allie and Creel. Creel is the quietest. Allie, they remind me of me and my husband. I'm the voice in the family, but he is the one who can I can say to him, look, I can't make these monitors fit here. There's not enough room. And boom, he comes in and engineers everything and it all just works right. Like I'm like, hey, in 30 days I need a new office. And he can go build it, right? But I know them and I because I've done business with him, I've seen him in summits, I've seen him networking, all these places, and what a great play they have on each other. But you wouldn't necessarily know that if you just saw Creel by himself, right? But when you see them together as a team and hear them work and present, then it becomes clear. And you get to know them. And so you're comfortable building relationships and building your business too. And I think that's huge. I didn't see anybody drop in the chat on the Zoom or on LinkedIn. What is your stumbling block? I'm really interested in knowing what's the thing that you feel like has kept you from not being as visible as you want to be. Let's get comfortable talking about that because I feel like let's not let it be the naughty stepchild that we just avoid. Let's talk about it and figure out what we can do about that. I think for me, I had businesses, I'd never gone live or done anything online. So the whole online thing was new. But one thing I did know is that I had performed and I had played basketball and things like that, and you don't stop. So if you start and you screw up, you just keep going, right? Even if you have to pause and take a minute and refocus, you just keep going. And so my first Zoom I did live, the power went out. Yep, the power went out. And I knew that the solar was coming on. I'm like, okay, everybody, let's just count. Counted to 10. I'm like, bingo, we're back. And then a little while later, the power came back on. And so we had the reverse thing. And I kept going through it. And I thought, you know what, this is crazy that this is my first live and this is what I'm experiencing. So that was kind of a stumbling block too for me. But Nicole, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I what I will say is one time I ventured on my own to start doing some live Facebooks, and that was the time many moons ago that Facebook got hacked and it was shut down for 2 hours. And I'm like, what did I do wrong, right? Thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. But it truly got hacked, and the person I was working in a healing space in a kind of boutique in Las Vegas and thought I totally messed this up. My Generation X, but was getting left behind, and no, it truly was down. And so those flops, those things, and you think, you panic, and it's like, oh my gosh, no. But you got to get over that hurdle and you got to keep going. And sometimes not only do you need to fail several times, but you also need to take a note to self, write it down and say, hey, what did I mess up and what can I change? It's like dating, right? What can I stop picking, this kind of person that I'm constantly dating because I always end up in the same space. It's time to dig down in the shadow. And so the work is the same. Have you pivoted, or are you constantly doing the same thing? You're just repeating it, or are you tolerating what's going on around you? And maybe perhaps you need to move, and that's time to move and grow and disrupt your mind space. And Donna put in here that an obstacle for her has been the decision to be visible online and consistency. Undoing it. This is here. You're visible. You're alive. Here's step one. You did it. We all did it with Donna today. Give her a big round of applause. You're online. You're visible. Knock that one out. Check mark that, and don't look past that. That is maybe a small step, but it is a step. You were online at Colleen Summit. That is a second thing that we've got to grow with you and be part of that and be participatory in that growth for you. So these are the things. If you say, okay, I did this, I came into the Zoom, I came into a networking. You're online, you're visible. So when we look at that and go, oh, maybe it's not that I'm afraid. Maybe it's just I don't know how. Maybe I can use something. And that's what the Voice Lab, that's where we created the Voice Lab, is so you can get some solutions. You can get some nuggets in these things to say, hey, what do I need to do to get visible? And maybe you're doing it, but you're looking past it because we've got so accustomed to being online and on Zoom. And many moons ago, you didn't do that, and now you are. So you're present. If you're on social media, you're present, you're here, you're doing the thing, you turned the camera off, you're participating in the chat. You're online, you're visible. So when you chalk that up and go, okay, here I'm visible, become a guest on we have the Brew and Stew Spotlight. Yeah, I know, shameless plug, but the other thing is when you're in a space with other podcasters that are looking to enhance your visibility, it's maybe a safer place for you because it's your aligned crew, it's your peeps, it's your soul tribe. And when you do it with other people, it's a little bit easier taking the step. It can be a little frustrating and fumbling. It takes a second. Sometimes it's Zoom. Sometimes it looks like you're online and you're live and you're not. Maybe the commercial's not playing. And when you understand that it's going to happen, it's not if it's going to happen, it's when, and you're just ready for it. So those are some easy things to look for. Ali's launching her workshop. There's a technical part of it that may happen. Your plans, you're ready to go, just turn it on and go. You record it. People show up, they don't show up. You record it and send it out to people like you've done it before. Now you get that out of the way. Now you move to step two. What is that next step? What is this? You have the visibility. You did the thing. If you're trying to plan so much, it's hard. Come to our school groups because those are free on the platform. It's no charge. Come into some of those are free and available to you so you can learn the thing. And that's what we're doing. And this is why it's so good to be part of this with Colleen, because she loves to learn and teach. You know, she loves to grow and move, and it's a passion of mine. So whether you're on Zoom, you're on your phone, or you're in virtual reality, there's a point of a realization where you need to pause and go, I'm doing the thing. I'm doing it. So give yourself some wins and some credit on that.
And I think, Allie, that I just want to say that a lot of times when I've had technical challenges, I will outside of GHL. So, of course, I sell GHL and I have my own tech team inside there that helps me and all of my clients within minutes, which is a huge blessing. But outside of GHL, I use Claude.ai. Um, and they, I have a plethora of AI friends, I call them, that I use for different things. But Claude seems to be the best with the tech setup and being very articulate in the step by step and being able to, I can take a screenshot of what I'm seeing and give it and have it respond to me what I need to do, exactly what the next step is, that kind of thing. And that's really important to have somebody that or a way to solve the problem quickly to avoid the overwhelm and burnout. And so, Allie, if you don't have those tools, or maybe, and I don't know, I'm sure I pay for Claudia. I don't know what it is, but if you would like to jump on one of the Solutions Lab through the school group. So Solutions Lab, I run on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you want to hop on one of those, I'm happy to get on a Zoom and pull up Claude and help you with it then. Share screen and do all of that to help solve any tech issues that way too. So think about that. And then also Nicole's running the Solutions Lab. Nicole, I believe you're doing on Thursday, Friday from 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, correct?
That's correct. And I put the calendar in there. So there's an invite. And when you guys look at it, the reason I really love actually like this platform is that it's very simple to maneuver. There's tabs up top. It says classroom, it says calendar, and it says community. So those are the three most important things. There's a place to engage, most important. There's a classroom. There's free stuff you guys get. There's what is a summit? How does it work? There's videos. There's some ebooks there that you can just go, oh, okay, I've actually got this because I have to get on Zoom. I've already got the thing. I just have to use it and go, yes, I'm in the moment, and
Yeah.
recognize that. And
And
so yeah,
you know what else is in there, Nicole? I just put the webinar template slides in there. And so if you're a little
yes.
bit challenged on Canva, I put presentation slides in there that are templates, and you can just go in and edit them. So they're already done for you. They have all the information on it. You just change the wording to be your thing, right?
Hmm.
You change the pictures, change the colors, and it's a simple click to change them. And so I'm happy to jump on a Zoom and show anybody how to edit those. But it's so and I have them very feminine right now because that's what I use and I just put them in there. But I went live last week and showed somebody how to change them to completely masculine. And so it really just takes a few minutes to make those changes and to make them so that they work for your business. And we're all about simplifying here. And so that for me, honestly, I don't go create brand new slides every time I do a presentation. I just duplicate the ones I have and edit them a little bit, change them out that way. And so it's a lot easier, saves time, saves on the overwhelm. And so that is also in there that we just put that in there for free. And so, does anybody have any questions? Let's open the floor for questions. And then also make sure you're using the chat to drop your contact information in the Zoom if you want to.
Yeah, you guys can come on mic if you want to, even though we're live, or raise your hand or put it in the chat. Be participatory. That's part of the engagement. I know it's kind of like, oh, I get to say something, I get a chance to be here and participate. It's a little bit of a pivot, with what we have going on, but we've got the participation with everything we do because you can't learn if you don't ask a question.
Yes.
I
And
haven't been saying much because my crown fell off yesterday and I'm kind of in pain waiting to go to the dentist. That's why I keep going on and off. The dentist keeps calling me. But I want to make sure, like Colleen's last show that I spoke on, how is it different from what this show's doing? And is this show also going to be like a networking event or it's strictly to sell into the school platform?
No, it is networking also. And so please drop your contact information. And then, Nicole, you want to grab the Bruins Stew spotlight? And so the speakers are different. We're doing the speaker arrangement for this different. That's going to be the biggest difference, I think, because I had not as many co-hosts that were engaged with being on the coffee chat as I am anticipating this year. It's going to be a little bit more raw. I'm going to put Nicole on the spot in a minute, and we'll have the hot seat here for a minute, and we'll see how she comes up with those. But I think when I say when you give something away for free, people value it at free, I think. And so having said that, moving forward, there's a small fee to be on this, to be the guest speaker on this. And I'm hoping that that gets a more engaged co-host who really values the experience more. And it is combined with Nicole's pain point
Pain point.
podcast. Hey, pain point podcast. So when you pay the fee to be on one or the other, you get to be on both.
But as an audience member, you always get to come in free like you can today and participate and network
Yes.
and talk to each other. So
And
that's what we're encouraging is absolutely just like you did is grab the mic and I'm sorry your queen crown fell off. But I was thinking that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, your crown fell off. But yeah, it took me a minute. I'm born blonde. But anyway, it is yes, we want you to engage, we want you to network, and that's what we're talking about. And the reason we're talking so much about the school platform is not just that we just launched it, but that it's for you to come in here and participate and get to know the community, and that's what we're trying to say in the way as well as here is come into the group, talk to people, meet with people, build the community, and that's what we're looking for.
yeah, and absolutely.
Colleen, when you say,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, when you say that your co-hosts last year weren't as engaged, what was it you wanted to happen that didn't happen?
Actually, I had very few co-hosts who actually shared and promoted the event in advance, or who came prepared to actually present or really share something about their business. And so I got a lot of feedback from audience members that they really enjoyed the presentations. They enjoyed when people came and presented their business specifics and okay, for instance, we had Carol on, and she had specific things we could do in our business to reach our clients better, to read the sales, to get the sales, all of that, right? And a lot of people didn't come on with that. And
Mm.
so it was our first year, and I'm very grateful for it. I mean, I decided I was going to do that December 27th, and I did it all year, and it was great. It was beyond what I expected it would be, but I'm leveling up a little bit this year. That's the biggest thing. And then I forgot make sure you use the chat, drop your contact information, and you can save the chat. So make sure that you save the chat. I've got it set so you can do that. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the hot spot. Are you ready? Nicole, you're muted. So,
Of course, as ready as I'll ever be. I
all
leaned
right.
back on my mic.
All right. What's the one thing in your industry of event planning and being seen and heard that your industry is doing that you think is complete BS? And why do you think they're still doing it if it is?
Well, I would say, and this is kind of where we really clicked when we had a conversation and started talking about summits, Colleen, and I've said this with a few people here in different spaces, is not your speakers need to be aligned. They need to be sharing not the same message, but a focused message. Otherwise, your audience members get lost and your speakers kind of feel violated in a sense because of the fact that they may feel set up. Like, hey, I'm here. I either paid money or I took time to get my presentation together. Like you were just saying, Colleen, the presentation rocked. My giveaways here, and then you have somebody that's unprepared, ill prepared, late. They don't show up. You're speaking on two different subjects. You know, You're not as a host curating and minding the time. It's the setup, it's the alignment, and it's the planning. That it, if it's really one thing, make sure that your speakers are aligned so you really support them and support their business. And you know what? You're supporting your audience that showed up for you.
Okay, Nicole. So that's from your point of view. I'm gonna give you a question that's not on your list. You don't know is coming. And I hope that this is beneficial to everybody that's listening. So get ready for it. I made that mistake. I came online. I spent the big bucks. I paid $400 to speak at one summit. The lady after me spoke about adult toys. I was so embarrassed and left. And not the adult toys part that embarrasses me because let's just assume we're adults and we have that. But that wasn't where I wanted my business being seen and heard. Okay. And so I stayed away from summits for over a year. I just avoided them like the freaking plague. And when I sat down with you to plan my summit, I said, no, you are not picking my speakers. I will pick my own speakers because I know what aligns with my business. So, as all of the attendees are listening, what can they do to protect themselves so they're not in my situation? And how do they know? Because I paid big bucks thinking this would be a high class event. It went out to so many people, like
Mhm.
80,000 people or something. And, and it was the worst. And so how do they avoid that? What's the steps they can take to not get in that situation?
Well, and that's a good point because unless your branding and your marketer that are coming on the stage are talking about branding and marketing for the adult toys or whatever, then it's a miss and there's confusion and there's frustration. But the other thing is here's what you can do as a speaker, and this is what I've done. You go and research the summits that they have done in the past. You can also look, ask for some clips, ask for the signups. That's why I use Event Raptor. People can see the old events I've done. And you can connect to speakers there. So every time I enroll my speakers, they're on the page so they can get enrolled into other summits. It's a great place to do that. I network with speakers in certain communities, so I get to know who these speakers are and if they actually know about their own business. Talk to them. So you want to, as a speaker to a host, get on a call. I encourage speakers, get on a call with me. Get on a speaker call with a host. Read the room? Who's in the room? Get to know them like you're doing here. Drop your LinkedIn in here. People get to kind of cyber stalk you and get to know a little bit more about you. It's going to take it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's just like getting on a one-to-one call with a client. Did you go to their LinkedIn page? Did you look up their website? Did you look at their videos? Are they in the same heart space as you are? Are they really serious about their business? Or maybe they're a coach and they've changed their mind 3 times on the name of their business, the type of business they're having, or they don't know to speak about that. It works the same in reverse. What's your goal? Ask the host. That's why I have speaker calls. Ask the host, what's your goal with this? What kind of, how many, not just how many people, not just the analytics, but who are your speakers?
Can
My
we ask
speakers
what
aren't
they're
listed on the
speaking
speaker.
on? Is
Yeah.
that is
Ask them
that
about the topic.
adequately correct? We can say
Yeah.
who are your speakers? So questions we should ask when we're doing our research. What events have they done before? And
Hmm.
look at those titles, some clips to make sure they feel like us or like the image we want to portray. And
Right.
then ask them who are the other speakers and what are their topics and maybe research those because
100%. Do
you want
your
to
due
know
diligence.
that they are wearing their bra to the Zoom. And then it's the little things and it's the details. Like I don't want to be on stage with people who don't care enough about themselves to show up professionally for a
Right.
presentation, right?
Does the meet when you come into even just the speaker call, when you enter a room, does it look like Walmart on the first of the month? Everybody's in their slippers, they're a little
Yeah.
stoned, nobody's brushed their hair, they stink, they smell like skunk weed, their kids are screaming. Are these people, if they're showing up, is there a bunch of stuff going on? There's a little bit of a square here, right? Technically a rectangle, but there's a little square, and in that little square, is it really active and off the chain? And you could imagine the rest of their life, which means what will they bring to the stage? Get on a call with some of these speakers, maybe get into a group, get into a networking group where these people hit home. I mean, with me, you can go into the Hounds of Business. With me, you could talk to Colleen. Donna's been on there, right? I've worked with Kim. Allie's, worked with me or she's
Been
gotten
on
to
the
know me.
summit.
We've gotten a call, right? She was on the summit. So what is those telltale signs? It's not just the data and the analytics. It's not just numbers, you know, but are you seeing it? Are you feeling it? Do your due diligence. Be a leader. Be a CEO. You want to talk and throw the three-letter term out there. I'm a CEO. I'm an entrepreneur. Do you know what that means for yourself? And do you know what that means in the group of people you're hanging out? Because you're as good as the five closest friends. So everybody in this room, there's nine of us right here, well, including the Phantom, and there's a live. So we're broadcasting to the audience. The audience has the ability to look it up and see what is really going on. Before you date someone, you look at their record, right? How many times have they been arrested and what they've been arrested for? You should know that about your host.
That's funny, you should. But and just for the record, I have not been arrested. I almost got arrested once, but they called and told me they were coming to arrest me. I told them I'll be right down, so they didn't arrest me. Um, Funny thing, because they said I was running a business without a license. I'm like, okay, well, our mayor needs to clean his desk off because I applied for a business license like 6 months ago. I'm sure it's sitting right there. I'll be right there. Find it for you. So I went down and found it for him. But um, and I was so disappointed, to be honest, because I thought if I was going to get arrested at this damn age, it should be for something dynamic, right? Like we should have had hella good time, not be like
Yes.
you don't have a business license. Where does that come in my life? No. Okay, so I want to say that I didn't know, be a little vulnerable with you here. I didn't understand and know coming online that I had the right to question the summit host, the event planner. And so I didn't do those things. And so I hope that that helps somebody get a little courage in your belt. I don't know why, because I questioned everything else in life. Didn't think I'd do that. Okay, Nicole, next question.
Yeah.
What's a mistake you made that cost you serious money or time that you kept making anyway because you were too proud or scared to admit that it wasn't working?
So, not knowing, I don't say I was scared to admit, but not knowing because I didn't know a lot about business. I was forced into entrepreneurship in 2020 from a 20 plus year career. And there's a lot of things I didn't know. Because you can fail all you want, the check's still going to you're still going to be able to cash your check when you're working for corporate America or you're working for a large casino. You're still going to get some money. You're not doing that in your own business. So I had a business partner that I was working with that wasn't as ethical as I was. And so an event that we had planned to do kept getting changed and canceled. Money got spent. Didn't see a dime of that. And then, for whatever better reasons, there was some other business that was going on. So there was some other legs of the business that we were into. But it was like, look, you got to trust yourself, one, but if you don't know what you're doing, then you don't know that you're failing and you may be failing miserably and it's going to cost you money. And you know what? The worst thing for me was not the money. The worst thing for me was the clients I lost on that.
Yeah.
And the
Relationship.
fact that what really, I guess, would say scared me, but made me nervous was having to explain to them what happened and that I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming. And that, hey, if I have to reimburse you, that's okay. But I will take accountability for it because I'm a leader. So being able to say, hey, can I really take accountability? Am I trusting my intuition, even though I don't know the space I'm in and what's really going on myself to be able to see that? But also the courage to call it out and say, hey, when I did notice it, hey, this is not going to work. And having to call people and say, hey, we're just not going to do this. We're not going further. I'm choosing not to work with this person anymore. I want you to know that and letting them know that. Not saying anything bad because there's lots of bad things I did and could say. But for the sake of the clients, I wanted to save them from that and say, hey, you know what? Somebody that it's just we're separating ways. And if there's anything I can do to help you move on with your business or your life, then let me know that I'm here for you. And just just being able to do that. And it was pretty miserable.
Yeah,
You know,
I
uh,
imagine. And I think that alongside that, I felt the same way when it took me a minute to figure out that I could say to people, look, you're not delivering the value you promised. And I'm not, and I found that a lot online. And I'm not sure if it's because people hide behind the screen or like for me, it was like, I was like, okay, this is just what they give.
hmm
This is what we get for that $3,000, Oh, um, and now after being online for a few years, I've come to the point where I'm brave enough to say, you know what, this exactly what value am I getting because I don't feel like I'm getting it right here, and I expected it, and so if it's not going to be there, now's a good time to cut my losses. But being brave
100%.
enough to say that. So one last question for you, Nicole. If you could give one piece of advice to somebody in your industry, so somebody getting into your industry, um, that would go against the grain and piss off your peers, what would it be and why is it worth it to stand on that?
I'll go back and circle back to what we had talked about before is do your due diligence and check your host and know the people you're in the room with as much as you can. Do your due diligence. Doesn't mean stand in your fear and don't take the mic and use it as a cop out, but really understand what you're in for. So you can prepare a plan B. If it fails, I'm okay cutting my losses. If I'm paying $100, if I'm paying $500, I'm okay with losing that. I'm not dependent upon that money to get on that stage. And that's where we were talking about pay to play versus free. And yes, we're promoting our stuff because we want to promote you and we want you to be there. This is important to us. But the other thing is why? Because we want you to have a community you can know, like, and trust. And if it's constantly free, we're constantly giving free away. It doesn't pay the light bills. Woke doesn't mean broke. And Billy Carson says that so well from Forbidden Knowledge. Woke doesn't mean broke. When you wake up to whatever it is, your creator, your God, or Houdini, whatever it is, the little angel on your shoulder. But really understand that you have to support one another. We talk about collaboration all the time. It's the same thing as doing your due diligence. Is that host going to support you in affiliation? Is that host going to help you circle back to the payment? Because the reason is that they should be promoting you as much as you're promoting them, and a lot of hosts don't.
Well, and I will say too, just look around the room where you're at today. I don't know Royce very well, but I feel like I know everybody well enough that I would invite you to my home. And if you look at I mean, I do this, I'm such a people watcher. Look at people's backgrounds. Everybody's is professional and clean. And so I think that just says a lot. Even um, their image, if they're off video, it's still very professional. And so I think that just knowing people, getting to know people, and I've kept my circle fairly small, and I keep my client circle small on purpose because I want to be able to really serve. I don't want people saying I don't see the value here, or I can't reach you, or any of those things. And I know that you can in most instances, you have the choice to either be the McDonald's in the business or the Ruth Chris, right? And so you get to pick whether you're going to have billions served daily at 99 cents or whether you're going to have 100 that you serve at $500. And so take a look around you, pick who you're going to hang with, and really support them in their efforts and bring them into your world and build those relationships. Nicole, we're going to exit this. This has been amazing, but I would love for you to tell us one more time. Tomorrow, the summer speaker panel is at what time?
The summit speaker panel is at 12 Eastern, so 9 Pacific.
Okay. And you have that link. Drop it one more time on the bottom. And let's make sure that we really go out there and build relationships. If you have any hesitancy at all in what you're doing, you need help. Nicole and I are the real deal. Be sure that you jump in, and looks like Rob is trying to join right now. And I knew this was going to happen because we changed time. But be sure that you jump into the voice lab and get in on some of our little um, solution labs where we help people, because we're more than willing to help sort things out. We would love to get in on one-on-ones with each of you and really just help you move your business forward in 2026. So the summit this week is from invisible to influential, which I think we all hope to be, right? And it is running on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
That's correct. Yes. First day is networking and speakers. So really networking. So yes, absolutely. So we'll have time for people to talk and get to know each other
Yeah, and
and
make sure
ask
that you use the
questions.
chat. Carlucci, I did not see your information dropped in the chat. Did you drop it? I didn't
And
see
there's
it,
Rob.
but
Yeah.
drop your link to your networking too. Mike, got yours in there. Everybody get dropped in there, and then people can grab the chat. Rob, I'm sorry you're just joining us. We are just closing. We changed the time to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Do you want to stop the streaming? We can just chat.
Okay, so I need to change that in my